Hello friends, this is Scott. And when I bought the hobby farm in the summer, I really didn't do a lot of thinking about this stuff. This nice white mounds of goodness that we desperately need, but until you live a winter in an area, you really don't know what that area is really like weather-wise. As you can see here, that's probably a 3.5-foot stump out of the ground there, and it's almost buried. And this is how it looked when I first got to the hobby farm, and I had to shovel. And so after shoveling, I got my way into the house, and I'm thinking, well, I'm trying to time my trips down here to be between storms, and I was successful in that capability. I had clear roads coming down here, but as I pull in the driveway and see all this snow, there's a lot going on here. As you see, the fruit trees are about half buried. So as you can see, we get a lot of snow down here, and this is just the beginning. I mean, this is the first day I was down there on a 3-day trip. And look at the back, there's my trailer, and there's my back driveway, and that kind of highlights a major problem I have is access. At the stage of having to get flooring, which is fairly heavy, and I was expecting I was going to use that trailer to pick up the flooring, but obviously that's not going to happen. Now, as I'm leaving, again, every day it snowed while I was down here, and I shoveled every day. And here's what it looks like this morning when I came home. And you see my nice neighbor across the street there. He helps me a lot with plowing. So godsend to have a good neighbor when you're not around. But that's a pretty good amount of snow. And I've got to really take into account several things about winter weather that is going to affect a lot of decisions I make here at the hobby farm for going through the next season. I've got lots of want-to-dos, and now I'm starting to see some have-to-dos. And the biggest have-to-do I'm thinking is I need some kind of a snowplow, whether it's an ATV, a side-by-side. But with all the other expenditures I need to do, how am I gonna fit that in when I want a chicken coop and I want large animals and I want, blah, 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 lots of other infrastructure type projects outside, as well as I'm spending all this money on the inside getting the house in livable condition. So my mind is kind of spinning here, is thinking about all the things that I may need to prioritize. And snow removal is a big deal. Now, my neighbor is helping me, and he's a great guy, and I really appreciate it. But just imagine if I didn't have that. Well, as I get home, though, this is the funny thing about Utah. This is an hour away from the hobby farm. I'm back home. We had wind and snow. I showed you last week how much snow we had. Hey, a week later, and it is almost gone. And we have some tree limbs we still have to clean up. And again, I've neglected my own yard, spent all my time down at the hobby farm and other pursuits. But as you see here, this was all just covered in snow, and even the pond is unfrozen. And you can see that orange there, that's a goldfish. I'm very sluggish. I was able to just reach down and touch that goldfish. But here's a look at all the mess that my wife's been complaining about recently, about how crappy the backyard looks. I got some tree limbs down back here and lots of leaves, and it snowed on me before I was able to get it all cleaned up. Well, winter at the hobby farm. Questions. Safe travels. I've got a time between storms, making sure that I can, coming and going, so I can get home also and take care of what I have to take care of there in the city. I've got to find a way to plow snow. Fences. I mean, literally the fences are half buried in snow. How am I going to keep animals in? How am I going to keep access to animals with this much snow and take care of them properly? These are all questions that I need to really think about, and when I prioritize what my next year's budget or this year's budget is, I've got to really figure out what is in my best interest right now. And again, I have a lot of things that I want to do, but I'm going to have to slow down, and I'm going to have to start investing in some things that I need for sure. And didn't realize that snow removal was going to be that big of a deal, and it's a big deal. Well, thanks for watching this video, and if you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment. I was down at the hobby farm for 3 days, and so I've got a lot to show you here in the next videos. I've got a lot accomplished, so stay tuned. We'll be bringing you a lot of content. Thank you.